Hey everyone, thanks so much for taking the time to look at this presentation. For those of you who were able to attend our Freshman Parent Night on Monday, thanks so much for being there. You can go ahead and skip forward to whatever slide you find most helpful. And for those that are here for the first time and viewing this presentation, thanks so much for joining us. We're happy to answer any questions you might have through email or through phone, and we'll talk about how to get a hold of us coming forward. We had a great freshman parent night on Monday night, and look forward to connecting with each of you whenever you have questions. Here at South Salem High School, we have the privilege of offering 5 different counselors for our student body. This year's student body freshman class is about 650 students, and we anticipate that will be the new norm every year as we welcome in new freshman classes. We're off to a great start this year with our new counseling team, and as you can see on the screen right now, we are broken down in an alpha breakdown or an alpha caseload. Last names A through CR are with Ms. Isham. Last names CU through HA are with me, Ryan Marshall. Last names HE through MC are with Ben Handrich. Last names ME through R are with Sar Bueno. And last names S through Z are with Wendy Anderson. Additionally, we do have a registered nurse on staff. She's here full-time at South Salem High School. Her name is Denise Proudfoot. We also have a health assistant that's in our health room. And together, we believe very wholeheartedly in treating the holistic child. So all facets and all forms of mental and physical, psychological, physiological health through our center, both the Counseling and Health Center. It's a unique setup in the Salem-Keizer School District, but it's something we're pretty proud about and in fact has been modeled throughout the district because of this. If there's anything you hear from this presentation, my sincere hope is that you would hear that we truly believe that we have the kindest school in the United States. That because of the student body, because of the parents, because of the families that are involved, there's just an overarching feeling of kindness, compassion, hard work, certainly, excellence, absolutely, but we really do believe that we have the kindest school in America and the kindest students in America. So we're really excited to offer the program that we do, and it's all because of the students that we have and the faculty we have, as well as the families we get to partner with. Our Saxon Counseling Center and program has been designed after the national model through the American School Counselors Association recommendations for best practice. And so what that means is that we take a look at 3 different major parts of each student that we serve and the collective student body. The first and foremost is the academic achievement, that we are here to help your student graduate. We do so by connecting them with great resources such as tutoring. We do so by individual student counseling, where we get to plan out their 4 years at South Salem and look at credit recovery if they've had a hard time in a class, or help them problem solve with teachers. We're here to help students navigate these 4 years of academics, whatever that may look like. We also are very traditional counselors in the sense that we help with social and emotional needs that students may have. So whether that's peer mediation, whether that's a student that's just stressed out because of all that's on their plate, or whether that just means a student needs someone to connect with in a mentoring capacity, we absolutely see this as an opportunity and privilege to serve our students and our student body in this way. And finally, we take a look and really focus, have some great resources available for college and career readiness. Most significantly, we have a college and career center, which is located just above our library. And in that center is our college and career coach, Michelle Warner, who specializes in knowing all things about life outside of South Salem High School. The counseling team, along with Ms. Warner, will go to different classrooms and give guidance lessons throughout the year, where we focus on preparing students for life beyond our walls. Sometimes that may mean a trade school. Sometimes that may mean an apprenticeship. Sometimes that means a 2-year or 4-year, and even they may join the military in some form or fashion. Overall, we try to, with these 3 components, view the student, like we said earlier, holistically. We look at this opportunity to be their counselor, be your student's counselor, as an opportunity to find out everything about you and make sure that we're serving you in the ways that you need during your 4 years at South Salem High School. With that in mind, especially for our freshman families, we really wanted to provide tonight reminders, helpful hints, life hacks, one might say, some considerations that you would want to take in as you think about the freshman year especially. It's a giant year of transition. For some reason, for many reasons actually, this year tends to be the most difficult for students as they transition from a lot of the supports that were in place in the middle school level into high school, where they very much are thrown into the deep end and expected to float from day one. With that comes a lot of tribulation, a lot of trial, a lot of difficulty, and we are here to help you support through that. This is the time that we get the most phone calls from parents, usually after the first 6 weeks, as they see their grades come out for the first time and understand for the first time the reality that these grades stick and they last. And part of that reason is because these are mostly required classes that students are taking. They do hop in some electives, but overall 5 of the 8 that they get are required and are key components, key courses that students need for graduation purposes. And with graduation comes the very real fact that their transcript is a permanent record. And a transcript, for anyone who doesn't know, is a list of all the classes that students have taken, when they've taken them, and the grades that they've earned. And that transcript is something that does follow them. And so one of the reality checks that happens with freshmen especially is that they'll see the grades go on their transcript after first semester for the first time, and it'll be a difficult wake-up call that, oh my goodness, I didn't try hard enough, and now these grades actually matter. Colleges are looking at it, future jobs are looking at it. These transcripts are important documents. And really what we've found is that this is the year that students don't take seriously enough. We have students that take advantage of the transition and the grace that's often provided freshmen and dig themselves into a hole. And by their senior year, they're looking back and thinking, oh, no, did a terrible job my freshman year, and now I'm suffering for it. We also have seniors and juniors even that did so well their freshman year that they can either graduate early or they can enroll in many releases and take what's we like to refer to as the college schedule, where they have 4 or 5 classes and only have to come for partial days. So a pretty unique and distinct difference between the two, those that take freshman year seriously and those who do not. And this picture really says it all. These are the conversations we have with parents where they just are at their wits' end. They can't figure out what has happened to their sweet child, and they need help. And so again, that can come in many different ways. Most commonly we see that socially or academically, or even in the fear of the future. And we're here to help with that. So feel free to give us a call. Let us know if that's something that you'd like us to support your family as we move forward. We move into recommendations, things that we've seen students do that have helped them to be more successful as they move through their freshman year. First and foremost, it's getting involved. We believe and have seen the proof that extracurricular activities make you well-rounded. A student that finds different interests and areas of interest is one that we tend to see being happier, finding more joy in life, being able to overcome obstacles, and one that certainly makes more friends. So we encourage you, and we'll get into it a little bit more here in a sec, to encourage your student to find ways to get involved. It's also a great time to learn how to study and complete homework. And that element of completing the homework is really key. I want to make sure I point that out, that so many people and so many of our students will get frustrated with an assignment and give up and just take a 0 on the assignment. And statistically or mathematically speaking, a 0 is it really does some damage to the overall grade, whereas if they just did as much as they could on the assignment and got a few extra points, that those points go a long way when it comes to earning a credit for each class. Another key component is communication. Families, I cannot emphasize this point enough, the importance of communication and having an open book with your child, but also to encourage your child and your student to take on the fact that they're becoming a young adult. This is the time for them to learn how to communicate. And so while we very much appreciate parents reaching out and doing so on behalf of their student, my encouragement is to allow your student to learn the great skill of reaching out on their own and being the one to send their counselor or send their teacher an email, or to model and show and demonstrate what it would take for them to go up to a teacher and have that conversation after school too. You'd be shocked how many students by their junior and senior year still don't know this, have this skill developed, and it's because parents continue to be the one that speak up for their child. I say this with great respect for the role that you have, families, but this is a great opportunity to start allowing your student to explore independence. And that goes for asking questions as well. Encourage them to raise their hand and do so either before or after class as well. Ask questions anytime they don't have an element down or they lack some sort of understanding. This is the time to ask those questions and to learn that great skill. Finally, probably most importantly, their freshman year is teaching our students how to organize and prepare for classes, for homework, for tests. Some of us still don't have that skill to this day into our adult years, but this is a time that students really need to learn that. And then really finally, encourage that involvement. And what that can look like is all different depending on the student. But one thing that I love about South Salem High School is that we offer over 50 clubs, and most of them have been started by a student. And so as you think about how to help your student get involved, make sure you give them this list. Show them that we've got clubs for everybody. And if there's not a club on there that the student likes or your child likes, tell them to come see me and we'll make the club together. There's also music programs and athletics, other ways to get involved. We do have sports each season. We have sports each season that are no-cut sports. Like tennis, for instance. Tennis is a sport that we have been very committed to not cutting so that students can come out without the fear of having to have a certain skill set or be at a certain level in order to make the team. They get to travel, they get to be a part of all the great events that we do as a team, and it's really a unique opportunity, something that we're committed to. So how can you support your child or your student? We've got a few recommendations. One, check in frequently, both academically and socially. Keep checking in. You know, it's really difficult to do so sometimes, and your student's not going to give you much at home a lot of the time, but do not let that stop you from continuing to check in. Check Parent View. Make sure you get access to that and class websites. Encourage your student to use their planners and review class notes. Create a quiet place if you can at home and set aside time. Help your students set aside time to study and limit distractions. We talked about encouraging involvement. Utilize after-school tutoring and Saturday school. We do have those available, and access resources such as the College and Career Center. We also have a monthly newsletter that we put out, and so make sure you're reading those. And when you get a phone dialer, as annoying as they might be, make sure you're listening to it. We try to only do phone dialers in the most important circumstances and fill it with the best information we can. We have information on our school website, such as the calendar. We asked if you can to volunteer in our events and chaperone activities, join one of our 3 booster clubs, become a mentor in our College and Career Center, which I'll talk a little bit about here in a sec. Speaking of college and career, there are a lot of things that we try to encourage. One is just class placement. Make sure you're taking challenging coursework in honors and IB. Monitoring progress for students, especially make sure that they know how they're doing and they keep up to date through Student View. And really we emphasize responsibilities such as attendance, homework, and behavior. That is up to the student. And then connect with the College and Career Center. Again, we keep hitting that, and it's above our library, and it's manned. It's overseen by Michelle Warner, who's just an amazing resource. And there's information coming here. There it is. Room 234, just above the library, Michelle Warner. So lastly, before I turn it over and turn it off for this presentation, I want to make sure that I make it very, very, very clear that we at the Counseling Center, our College and Career Center, take the responsibility to serve our students and our families very seriously. And so if there are ever any concerns, if there are ever any questions, please reach out to us. We can be reached through email. We have a website that you can come as well and reach us. You'll find our contact information there. You can stop by, but we most often are pretty booked, and so we ask that you make appointments if you do so. We thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this presentation, and if there are any questions that come up from it, please let us know.